single cask exclusives from possibly the most premium whiskey brand on Islay. It was going to be a bottle I was going to find it hard to say no to, wasn't it? Hi there, my name's Lewis and welcome to the Neckpour. This is the whiskey review channel where I give you my thoughts and opinions on a particular bottle of whiskey from the Neckpour all the way down to the Dregs. You join me here today for the Neckpour of a new bottle and one of the more expensive bottles I brought back from Islay, where I was recently there for Fèis Ìle. And this is the Bowmore 2026 Fèis Ìle release. This was a 9-year-old single cask PX and one that I'm kind of looking forward to, but a bit unsure about. The one thing I will say is the packaging and the experience of Bowmore was very, very premium. It certainly felt like the most premium of all the distilleries. But at the same time, it was incredibly busy, and the only place it felt like people were buying bottles just to sell them on. So how that stacks up with the quality, I'm not sure. But yeah, without any further ado, I think let's get this open. We'll talk through it and then taste through it together. So it comes in one of these distillery exclusive boxes. And then you get the actual Fèis Ìle bottle. I mean, look at the colour of that. I'll cut in some up-close footage, but it's absolutely incredible. It looks like it's full maturation in PX sherry for this one, hence that colour. As I mentioned, it is a single cask, and it must have been a pretty big one. It must have been a full-sized, but if not even maybe slightly bigger than that, given that there was 641 bottles of this. But without any further ado, let's have a little listen to the cork. Not bad at all. And let's pour ourselves a little dram. So yeah, this is a 9-year-old whiskey from Bowmore. Full PX maturation, 2016 distillation, and bottled 2026. So it was either spent a bit of time out of wood and in glass, or it's at 9 in a good few months. We are fully natural, full cask strength, 55.4%. It's all floor malted at the distillery. And as I mentioned, it must have been a pretty big single cask for this one. Very small numbers, only available at the distillery on the day, sold out pretty early. But wow, the queues at Bowmore were crazy. None of the other places were like that at all. I mean, the one thing I will say, they were very diligent on only letting a certain number of people in the shop at once, which was pretty good in some senses. Kept the queuing down, and without naming any names, one of the other distillery shops during the festival felt like a bit of a jumble sale with the amount of people that were in there sort of rifling through things. But yeah, it was a long queue to get into the distillery, and then an even longer queue to get into the shop. And yeah, a lot of people, I think, were buying their bottles not necessarily to open, but hard to say. But yeah, this one is one I did taste. I wasn't blown away by it. However, that morning I had been drinking some pretty premium other Bowmores at the distillery. So how it is away from them, it's hard to tell. And I was more keen to buy this one because I know a lot of people who really like Bowmore, and they would have been all over me like a rash had I not picked one up, that's for sure. So I thought I better had, and then I thought it was a little bit cheaper than the actual price was as well. I'd heard that it was £105, but then after queuing up for such a long time, I felt like I didn't want to come away without anything, so I did pay the full 130 that this was. So 130 for a 9-year-old, the value there is very debatable, particularly since I've taken the cap off and poured a dram out of it, because with that cap still on, I've already seen that going pretty crazy on a couple of auctions at the moment. But for me, whiskey's for drinking, not an investment. So yeah, without any further ado, I think let's get this up to the nose. Heaps and heaps, dark chocolate, freshly ground coffee, dried raisins, A little bit of pencil shavings there as well. But it's super dark on the nose. It's dark. It's quite dry smelling, if that makes sense. It's not like sweet dark things. It's like dry dark things. A little bit of florality underneath it. And just a whisper of smoke, but nothing strong at all. Really quite pleasant. Give it a little sip. Well, that was no slight on the whiskey. You got something slightly caught in my throat there. The first thing I got on that is a really buttery sort of flapjack. Again, those raisins, those dried fruits come through in that. Then the peat starts to appear on the palate, almost as a secondary flavour. But again, lots of dried fruits there, quite meaty and fatty. So to me, that's almost like a devil's in horseback or dates wrapped in bacon. They've then been grilled because you're getting that smoky meatiness and that big dried fruit sweetness. And then there's just something there. Maybe it's the colour, I don't know. But it's really reminiscent of Coca-Cola or Dr. Pepper. That kind of cola-y, fruity, almost undescribable kind of flavour. But it's really reminiscent of that kind of dark caramel fizzy drink. And that's actually a very pleasant palate. I'm actually really enjoying that. I'm enjoying that a lot more than I did when I bought it, which is a strange thing to say considering I chose to buy it on that day as opposed to today. But no, that's really actually pretty good. Then through to the finish, the smoke definitely remains there. It's not super strong. It's not super peaty for something that's only 9 years old. I'd expect it to be a little bit more peaty. Get lots and lots of lovely spice notes coming through on the finish. I'm thinking cinnamon, I'm thinking nutmeg, I'm thinking those kind of things. Not at all hot, just sweet, gentle, really well rounded. And again, on the finish, just those dark, dried stone fruits, apricots, cherries, all those things that are just coming through in swathes. This is super sweet, but it's really well balanced. And yeah, again, there's a little bit of a kind of pencil shaving woody note right at the very, very end. But it just kind of brings it all together really quite nicely. And yeah, from a bottle that I actually nearly sold to someone whilst we were still on Islay, to sipping this now, I'm really, really glad I've held on to it. Again, I'm not sure of the value. It's pricey for 9-year-old whiskey. But at the same time, like the trip we were on, it's a bit of a pilgrimage, and having these bottles in the cupboard certainly helped to keep some of those memories alive. And yeah, this is one that I'll really, really enjoy for a good while to come, actually. And I'll be really interested to see how this goes as it opens up, as it oxidizes, because I think this could go super sweet or super dry. I think it'll go one or the other way. And I'll be just interested to see quite what happens because, yeah, out of the 641 bottles that there were, I know this one's been open. I don't know how many others will be or how many others will be sold on secondary markets. But if you ever get your chance to get hold of one of these or just get a dram of one, I would certainly recommend it as long as the price is reasonable. Because, yeah, that's really, really good, actually. And the free glass we got, one of the best we got on Islay, actually. Really nice, thick glass. It's nice and sturdy, nice and heavy. and better than some of the other ones of these style that we got. So kudos to Beam Suntory for their choice of that. But yeah, I think that's where we'll leave this one for today. Firstly, I'd just like to say thank you all so much for joining me here today. The fact that you give up time out of your day to spend a bit of it with me really does mean a lot to me. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please do consider hitting that like button down below. If you've got any thoughts on this bottle, anything else from Bowmore, or is there anything else you want to see me review, please drop that down in the comments below. I'll be sure to get back to you on it. And if you've really enjoyed the video, please do consider hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell so you're informed next time that I post. Again, that really does mean a lot to me. But other than that, once again, thank you so much for joining me here today. Until the next time, cheers, Salancha, and I'll see you again.